Ho, 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 gentlemen. The holidays have come early this year as Manscaped have the gift that keeps on trimming. Santa's beard isn't so appealing when it's coming out of your trousers, and that's why Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, have you covered this holiday season. Now available in your country, join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped to keep their trees trimmed and ornaments polished. Go to manscaped.com and use code DTR for 20% off plus free shipping.
Stafford under pressure, going to tuck it up, and he's in! Daryl Henderson, he's off and running! Has Woods, touchdown! Cooper Kupp just went up and took it away. Van Jefferson for the touchdown. Aaron Donald smothers him. Jalen Ramsey put the pop on. Sacked by Leonard Floyd, having a day again. Darius Williams with a diving hit. Jordan Fuller comes up with his second interception of the night.
All right, guys, welcome back to Downtown Rams. As always, I'm your host, Alexis Kraft, joined here with my co-host, Jake Ellenbogen, and we are coming to you guys today to preview our Los Angeles Rams matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars in Los Angeles this Sunday, December 5th. And guys, coming off of a three straight losing streak, which is never fun, we could not be going up against, in most people's eyes, a better opponent to get our groove back, as the kids say. Jake, we are going against a Jacksonville Jaguars team that is led by rookie quarterback Trevor Lawrence, number one pick overall. Most people are familiar with them. However, they are 2-9 this season. They've not been playing very well. They are lacking a lot of talent. They gave away a lot of talent for a couple seasons. They did kind of a fire sale, including Jalen Ramsey, who is on our team and we are very familiar with. Jake, going against these Jaguars at home on Sunday after a 3-game losing streak, to me, is the perfect opportunity for the Rams to get their confidence back, get some positive momentum going. Because listen, I understand it's the Jaguars. I understand they're not very good. However, I still think we should absolutely just rack up the points, just simply for our confidence. We've had 3 really bad games in a row. And I think that the Rams really need to make a statement because listen, there's no excuse this game. Really, there wasn't for the other losses, but especially the Jaguars. There's no universe that we should be losing this game. So Jake, what do you think is the number one thing the Rams need to improve on going against the Jaguars and use to get their momentum back?
Well, I can't stress it enough. I want to see them have more of a balanced approach on offense. They pass the ball 61-62% of the time, which means they run the ball under 40% of the time. That, to me, is not conducive to winning football. And it's not typically a Sean McVay style offense. He just has abandoned the run. I mean, simply put, I want to see them run the ball mainly with Daryl Henderson, assuming he is healthy. But it sounds to me like they're going to be going with Sony Michel to start. And while I think that's a mistake, and, we can look at the facts that, he's averaging almost 1 full yard less than Henderson per carry. Regardless of who's carrying the football, I just want to see them run the football, establish the run, open up the play action passing attack, and just go back to your roots, because I just feel like, Sean McVay has taken Matthew Stafford, has looked at, this is what I have now. So I really want to be able to have some fun with this. Since last year, with Jared Goff, I was only allowed to throw 4 or 5 yard passes. And, it was mainly all, the receivers making yards after the catch. But now I have Matthew Stafford, a guy that can make any throw on the field. I'm going to get crazy. And I think the Rams, it worked initially. The Rams were 7-1, but now they're 7-4. I think it's time. It's gut check time. Every single year, it seems like Sean McVay has a moment with his team where they've lost two straight or 3 straight, where it is gut check time. It's time to look deep down and, step up. And I think, it starts with the offense. They got to be able to put points on the board. There's no excuse against a team like the Jaguars that's just, they're not a good football team. They're not a good offense. But, furthermore, I think they're going to have a lot of opportunities because while the defense definitely has to step up, and they've averaged over 30 points allowed the last 3 games. Good news for them. They're going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who on a good day average about 15 per game, which isn't very good. So, because of that, I expect there to be a lot of opportunities for the offense, a lot of scoring chances. And, for a team that basically lives in the red zone, they're one of the highest red zone appearing teams in the league, averaging almost 4.5 red zone appearances per game, to Jacksonville, who averages just a little bit over 2. And there's no excuse. They have to be able to get things done. And, like you said, put the points on the board, have something, to take away from this game, because you and I know my father, I was watching the game with him, but you and I both had an understanding after the Rams-Texans game. I don't know if you remember this, but everybody was celebrating that the Rams beat the Texans 38-22. And you and I were not happy about that, because we felt as though this game, not that we're spoiled fans, but we felt as though winning the game 38-0, going in the third quarter, resting your starters, and allowing that, piss poor offense to go down the field and score 22 unanswered points to end the game. We felt it wasn't really good for momentum moving forward. And, crazy enough, Alexis, I know you and I get some things right and some things wrong. I think we're right on that one, because the Rams have not won a game since they allowed 22 points unanswered to the Texans in that fourth quarter.
Yep. Again, and people said we were overreacting. Now, listen, I'm not saying that the Rams lost because of how they ended that Texans game. Of course not. But it's more of like a mindset type thing. I mean,
100%.
It's finishing out the game strong. It shows the attitude of the coaching staff. It shows the attitude of the players. Not only, and I'm not saying that the Rams players that were in when they let up all those points to the Texans did it on purpose. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that was an opportunity for us to see our depth. First off, and it wasn't great. And secondly, the effort also wasn't great. And then you see 3 straight losing games. So there's correlation there. I'm not saying it's because of the Texans game, but if you look at the Rams losses, to me, the Titans and the Packers are good football teams. We should have won those games. If you watch those games, we had plenty of opportunities and we just completely blew it. But I would give the Titans and Packers credit. I think they're very good teams. I still don't think the 49ers are as good as people think that they are. I think that loss is still kind of confusing to me. But listen, when we go against the Jaguars this week, we have to come out swinging and we have to stay swinging. If an opportunity comes like it did against the Texans, where we're just absolutely blowing them out, keep the foot on the gas. We need that confidence. We need to show that we are still dominant, because guess what? After this game, next week, we play on Monday Night Football against the Arizona Cardinals. And that is going to be a hard game. And that is going to be a game that we very well could possibly lose based on what the Cardinals did to us earlier in the season. So, and I forgot to mention earlier, one of the teams that beat us, the Cardinals, also a very good football team. But, I just think the attitude has to be from the beginning of the first quarter to the end of the fourth quarter, balls to the wall as hard as you can go. I think, unfortunately, we've put ourselves in this position where we have a lot to prove now, even though we are 7-4. That's a winning record, right? Well, we were 7-1, and now we're 7-4. We lost really badly in prime time. Everyone is kind of giving Sean McVay a hard time, and rightfully so, I might add. I think that all the criticism is warranted. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he does against the Jaguars, if his approach is different. We already mentioned the run game. Let's talk about that. Why is he putting in Sony Michel over Daryl Henderson? I know you mentioned it. I don't think it makes any sense. I think a lot of things that Sean McVay has been doing don't make sense, particularly pertaining to the run game. And you said something to me privately that I want you to elaborate on, is that Henderson is a scapegoat. And I agree with you. I don't think the run game isn't working because of our running backs. I think it's not working because Sean McVay isn't handling it well.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, my awesome co-host. I also forgot to share this with you in addition to the scapegoat, because I was just very angry. So I was venting there. But listen to this, Alexis. 46 carries, 230 rushing yards, which if you're not doing the math, I don't blame you. I have it right here. It's 5 yards per carry. That is Henderson's line in Rams losses. So when the Rams lose, Daryl Henderson has averaged 5 yards per carry. Is it Henderson or is it Sean McVay abandoning the run like we've been saying week in and week out? Because to me, there are 4 losses. The Rams are 0-4 in that split for Henderson. So Henderson's been in those 4 losses. He's had 46 carries for 230 yards, and that comes out to be 5 yards per carry. And better yet, for a guy that has 8 touchdowns on the season, he has 0 rushing yards and only 1 receiving touchdown in those losses. So tell me right now how this makes any sort of sense to basically use him as the scapegoat, bench him regardless of health. It sounds to me like they're going with Sony Michel. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like I've said, Sony Michel averages 3.9 yards per carry. Oh, Sony Michel breaks tackles. Great. He has 6. It's not like he has 16 on the season. Daryl Henderson has 3. Oh, well, what about Cam Akers? He was breaking all sorts of tackles last year. Wrong. Henderson had more broken tackles than any Rams running back last season. Now, there are people saying that Henderson hasn't looked the same, which fine. He hasn't, right? He doesn't have the burst that he had last year. That is evident. We can see that. However, first off, it's a new running scheme. It's a new blocking scheme altogether. You have a new offensive line coach. So I think a lot of that comes to the table. But another thing here is I don't care if Henderson lost a step from last year to now with his burst. If you're going to try to use his burst as a reason Sony Michel, who has no burst whatsoever, should start over him, that's just wrong. I mean, flat out, Daryl Henderson is the scapegoat. And look, I get it, right? You look, Sean McVay's lost 3 straight. He has himself, digging deep and all that. But he has to realize, man, he just hasn't gotten it done. He's been incredibly predictable. He's been repetitive. That article, I'm sure you saw, Stephen Ruiz dropped, about Sean McVay's offense. They're just repetitive and they're figured out. And it's not that Sean McVay himself is figured out, because Sean McVay could draw up a game plan this week that I bet nobody in the league has seen. The problem is it goes back to what we've been saying for a long time. I've been saying since before you were my co-host. Sean McVay is a great play designer, but as far as scheming and as far as, say, game planning and, calling plays in the moment, that is just not his strong suit. And I don't know if it's going to get better. He is a young coach. That is fair, but it's become a concern. And you're looking at this team, you have, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp having unbelievable Hall of Fame level numbers this season, Odell Beckham Jr., Tyler Higbee. You have all these guys, an offensive line that all of a sudden people think is bad when they're actually playing top 10 in the league. And they have been. They've been pretty much top 5 all season. When you really think about it, it's on McVay. And that's why I feel like Henderson's the scapegoat, because, I think he picked the wrong week to listen to the fans, because I know the fans were, we want to see more Sony Michel. I think if you ask me, Sony Michel is a big name. Sony Michel won a Super Bowl with the New England Patriots. But there's a reason why the New England Patriots traded him away like he was nothing. If you look, Ramondre Stevenson pretty much breaks, he breaks all sorts of tackles, but Ramondre Stevenson averages more yards than expected yards that he's expected to get than any other running back on that team, and he's 3rd in the league in doing so. You also have Damian Harris over there, and they're using Brandon Bolden, who was, basically a special teams ace. So they're using those 3 guys instead of keeping Sony Michel, who averaged 5.7 yards per carry. So to me, that tells me Mr. Genius Bill Belichick, sitting there at 8-4 with a rookie quarterback and looked like the best team in the AFC, he felt, okay, I like Sony Michel, but we have way better options. We can get some draft picks for him. And we know something everyone else doesn't. He just went for 5.7 yards per carry last season. We know it was our offensive line. We're going to, roll the dice that it was. Sure enough, he was right. I like Michel. I like him as a complimentary back. And when I was comparing him to Cam Akers, because a lot of people have been asking me, you compare him to Cam Akers, why are you so low on him? I compared him to body composition. He's very similarly built to Cam Akers. What he's not similar to Cam Akers in is creating yards that aren't there. He's not similar in burst. He's not similar as far as speed and athleticism. But body composition, he is. And so that's why I compared him. Henderson's the better back, and he's nothing but a scapegoat in this. And that is the end of my TED Talk.
Glad you got that all out. I agree with you, though. And I think most people agree with you. I mean, I think Sean McVay has an issue with accountability and he can say whatever he wants, but his actions certainly don't show much change. And that's what's concerning. The play calling doesn't really change. This, like you said, this move is somewhat of an effort to make it look like Henderson was the problem when he's not. The problem is the play calling and abandoning of the run game. Every time that Henderson has the ball, I'll say 9 times out of 10, Henderson has the ball. Something good happens unless the defense that we're going against makes a great play. It just doesn't make sense. Like you said, this offense, we have so much talent and something isn't working. And is the thing that's not working Sean McVay? That's the question mark. I'm not being dramatic saying, oh, he's a bad coach or anything like that. He's not, but I do think someone else should be play calling. I'd like to see, us have a true offensive coordinator that works well with his vision. Will that ever happen? I don't know. I think Sean McVay has to get to that realization, that self-awareness point where he understands that he is what is holding the Rams back right now. I'm not saying that some of the players aren't playing well. Matthew Stafford's not playing well. Okay. He hasn't had a great last few games. I'm not saying it's all Sean McVay's fault. The receivers have made some bad plays. The defense have let up a lot of really big plays. It all goes together. It's like a perfect nightmare, but it starts with Sean McVay. It starts with the play calling, and it's just not there. It's just not working. And going against Jacksonville, this is the game to fix it. Like I said, because we have a showdown the week after Monday Night Football against the Cardinals, which, listen, two things have been a problem. Two things have been a massive problem. Well, listen, two things have been a massive problem for us this season. Well, multiple things. But the two biggest things that have hurt us the most this season are the Arizona Cardinals and primetime football games. And we get both of them next week. So, and I'm not trying to be funny. That's just the truth, unfortunately.
Oh, the guy that they just made the starter, he fumbled in the game that just totally crippled them. By the way, Henderson averaged over 6 yards per carry in that said game. All right. Continue.
Well, what I'm saying is we have a mercy week. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it is of my opinion, unfortunately for the Jaguars, that we need to absolutely obliterate the Jaguars this week if we want any chance of having the confidence we need to overcome the Arizona Cardinals. Because listen,
if they lose to Trevor Lawrence, who's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns, oh man.
Let me put it this way. If the Rams lose to the Jaguars, our season's over.
Oh yeah.
It's not even just a numbers thing. It's a momentum thing. It would be, if you can't beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, you don't deserve a Super Bowl. Let's be honest. But listen,
no, I agree. Again,
I'm not saying I think we're going to lose, and we're about to get in our predictions for the game, but I'm just being very realistic. Some people might say, I think there's a mindset of, oh, this is a throwaway week. Well, it's not a throwaway week anymore because of the way that we've been playing the past 3 weeks. Now, not only do we need a win, we have to prove we can win, and we have to prove that we can beat at least the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, Jake, let's get into our I'll let you go first, kind of our stat predictions for this week. Have at it.
Everybody is trying to cash in on the next best crypto, but if you want guaranteed way to double your money, all you got to do is head on over to MyBookie and use promo code JKDTR. It's simple. Sign up with MyBookie with promo code JKDTR, and your first deposit is instantly doubled all the way up to $1,000. How's that for a quick turnaround in your investment? With the NFL playoff race heating up and college bowl season just around the corner, double your firepower at MyBookie to get action in on the most important games of the season. Build your own props, create multi-game parlays, and take part in a host of MyBookie cash prize contests. This is the best time of year to both watch and bet on sports because you know who the winners are by now. Don't miss out. Double your first deposit by using promo code JKDTR and keep your eyes peeled for more exclusive holiday promotions coming soon at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, bet anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Girls, I don't know about you, but I'm tired of finding a bush when I go down in my man's chimney. Dear Santa, all I want this holiday season is for my man to have smooth jingle balls. Thankfully, Manscaped answered with the Performance Package 4.0, so I don't have to find Santa's beard in my man's pants again. Ladies, this holiday season, get your man products that will leave him smelling fresh with their all-new ultra-premium body wash and a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. It's time to give the man in your life the gift of beautiful skin, hair, and balls this holiday season. Go to manscaped.com and use code DTR for 20% off plus free shipping.
Well, thank you. I have Stafford throwing for 3+ touchdowns in this game. I think they're going to go back to the air. I don't think they'll listen to me, and I don't think they'll run as much, even though it does look like they're about to run. I just think they'll take advantage of the fact, look, the Jaguars right now are banged up in the secondary. Whether or not they play Shaq Griffin dealing with a concussion, whether or not they play Tyson Campbell, doesn't really matter. I mean, they're not that great of a defense in that regard, period. But, if those guys are playing injured or not playing at all, I mean, Stafford's going to have no issue throwing all over this secondary. So, in a kind of, a tough scheme, a tough defense to go up against in, the Packers. The Rams did put up 28 points. They did come back. They didn't win, but, Stafford did throw three touchdowns against that defense. This defense is a lot worse, and they're at home. So I'm going to say 3+ touchdowns with the option of going over 3 for Stafford. And then I'll say that Cooper Kupp catches 2 touchdowns and OBJ goes over 100 yards. I understand there's people worried about OBJ's game status, but I'm not, because OBJ was just interviewed and he said that he pretty much feels fine and he's been through a lot worse. So that doesn't sound to me like somebody that's not going to play, but I guess, the stranger things have happened, but I think it's going to be really hard for Sean McVay to say, hey, OBJ, you're not playing. Like, it sounds to me like he really wants to be a part of this team. He wants to be a part of bringing them a championship. And, he's the guy that has replaced Robert Woods for the time being. So he's needed. I will say also, they do have, they have your guy, Ben Skoranek, back, so that'll be intriguing. But yeah,
yes.
Those are my predictions. Oh, I think the Rams are going to have a sack party against, at least in my opinion, I think they're going to just destroy Lawrence. I think they sack him 6+ times. I'll say that.
I am staying away from sack predictions because every time I do that, the defense goes into the game and just does not play well. So I'm gonna leave that one out for me. But I actually think Stafford's going to throw for over 300 yards as well. I think this could be his quote unquote comeback game because he needs one. He's played bad the last 3 games. Let's be real. And this is like we've been saying, a perfect opportunity to show off and show what he can do. So I do think he's going to have a big game. I think Odell Beckham's also going to have a big game. Listen, we have our Robert Woods out. Odell Beckham, arguably pure talent wise, some might say he's wide receiver 1 on our team. Cooper Kupp, in terms of this season, obviously wide receiver 1, but I think Odell Beckham is still wide receiver 2. I think that he not only for the team needs to have a big game, but I think for himself, obviously last game scored his first touchdown in 420 days. I think he needs to build off that. I think he needs to prove to himself and to everyone else that he's still an elite wide receiver because somehow people still think that he's fallen off, although I disagree. So I think that Odell Beckham might have 2 touchdowns this game. I think that he is going to, I think teams tend to, especially with Woods out, focus on Cooper Kupp. And I think that Odell Beckham might break free. We saw it happen last game. I think that it's going to happen again. And listen, you mentioned it earlier. Trevor Lawrence has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns, and I don't think that he is going to get away without throwing any interceptions against us. I think we're going to have at least 3 interceptions, and I think one of those is going to go to Jalen Ramsey, who in his pregame kind of interview, he said that he doesn't really think about the fact that it's Jacksonville. He doesn't think about the fact that he's going against his former team. But I'm going to call BS a little bit on that. I think a part of him has to be aware that he is going against the Jaguars, a franchise who, he didn't have the best of terms with. He might be on good terms with them now, but he had a very tumultuous relationship with them while he was there. So I think he's going to be extra motivated this game. And like I said, I just think I think everyone on the Rams needs to have a big game, a big confidence game. They need a big confidence boost. So I think we'll get into our scoring prediction. So I'll let you go first, Jake. What do you think the score is going to be of the Jaguars versus Rams game?
So I think this is going to be a blowout. I have 39-13. I just think the Rams are going to, run roughshod of the Jaguars. They're at home. They're pissed off, hopefully. And I agree with you. The whole Jalen Ramsey, I'm calling BS on that too. Because, if you ever play daily fantasy like FanDuel, which I know you have, one of the go-to things that we all like to do as players is pick players that are going against their former team. So, if I could, I'd pick Jalen Ramsey this week. But no, I agree with you there. I have 39-13. I just think that the Rams are going to, be able to fire away on offense. And I just don't think that there's really anything the Jacksonville Jaguars can do. They don't get to the red zone very often. I understand this is a bend don't break defense, but it's the thing that helps you against this Rams defense is the fact that there are players like Rodgers and Brady and Kyler Murray that can read and react to the zone. And I just feel like early on in Trevor Lawrence's young career, he's struggled against zone coverage. He's had a hard time finding, just sometimes making the easy throw. And that's essentially what you have to do if you want to beat the Rams defense and take advantage of that bend don't break and, find openings. The Rams don't have the best linebacker play, and that's a huge opportunity for Lawrence, but he struggles throwing middle of the field, seeing those open guys, sometimes making the easy throw. He struggles with it. So, I do think that the Rams will be able to blow out the Jaguars. I don't think that the Jaguars are doomed forever, but I just don't like them this year. And I definitely don't like them against the Rams that are playing for, a playoff spot, whereas most Jaguars fans don't even want to win this game.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my prediction that I made at the beginning of the season. I think that the Rams beat the Jaguars 41-14. So similar kind of to your score prediction. I just think that the Rams are, or at least I hope they are, fired up. They see this as a prime opportunity for themselves to absolutely light it up, bury the Jaguars as they should. And I'm just hoping that it is not a close game because listen, a win is a win, but I very much don't want to see the Rams sneak out a win against the Jaguars. I think that would still be painful. Not as painful as a loss, but we need to dominate this game.
I just hope it doesn't come back to me making fun of the Bills for losing.
I mean, I hope that this episode doesn't go down as one of the most grossly negligent predictions.
Well, predictions maybe, but we got some good stuff in there.
Well, we got some good stuff in here, but there's no reason that you and I should be recording the game recap episode and being like, what a loss. That is going to be painful. And listen, I get my booster shot tonight. Part of the reason that we're recording this episode right now.
So you'll have 6G. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I'm going to have 6G reception. And listen, I got it on a weekend because I don't know, some people don't feel good for a couple days. So if I'm feeling really, really crappy on Sunday.
Oh no, you're going to text me. The Rams are losing. It's a bad omen.
And if the Rams add on to that with a loss, I'm going to have to practice some serious mental conditioning I am going to not be happy if I am sick in bed recovering from my booster shot and watching the Rams lose to the Jaguars. That sounds like a terrible time. So I hope that the Rams don't fail me and us and the fan base, and I don't think that they will. I'm confident that the Rams will beat the Jaguars. I'm hoping that it's complete domination, but we'll see. The Rams have a lot to prove. Listen, we're not making excuses over here at Downtown Rams. Everyone knows that we've lost 4 games that we should have lost, and we do not want it to happen again. So, Jake, do you have any final thoughts before we head out?
Yeah. So for those of you bettors out there that, haven't already, go check out MyBookie. It's the official sports book of Downtown Rams. You can go over, use our promo code. It's JKDTR at MyBookie. It'll double your first deposit of up to $1,000. So highly recommend getting in on that. And then also, we are now with Prize Picks. We're very excited to be partnered with Prize Picks. Our promo code is DT Rams. That's DT and then Rams. At first deposit, it will double your first deposit up to $100. And you can go on there right now on your app, and I invite you to do so. You can basically just go through and pick what you want to do. So if you're a Rams fan, and I assume you are since you're listening to this, the Rams, if you believe that Trevor Lawrence, for instance, is going to throw under 216 yards, 215.5 passing yards is the over-under. If you believe he's going to throw the under, you pick him, you put the under. If you believe that Matthew Stafford, who's listed at 270.5 passing yards for the Jacksonville Jaguars game, if you believe that he's going to throw at least 271 yards, you do that one. It's a really great app. It's super easy to win. You don't have to get them all right. Obviously, if you do, it's good, because if you say you go with 5 picks, you win, you get 10 times your money. If you only get 4 out of 5, you still get 2 times your money. And even if you only get 3 out of 5, you still get some of that, first bet done. Daryl Henderson, even though he is not likely going to be starting, he is listed at 65.5 rushing yards. So if you think he goes over that, which I'm not feeling very confident about that. I don't know about you, Alexis, but if you do believe he goes over that or under that, you can select that. You can select James Robinson, who's also on the Jaguars, 52.5 rushing yards. If you think he gets 53 or more, hit over. If you think he gets under that, hit under. And then, of course, the receiving, you have Cooper Kupp, who's at 88.5 receiving yards. This guy lives over that. So I would probably hit the over if I were you on that one. Laviska Shenault at 45.5 for the Jaguars. Not feeling too keen on that. It seems like he barely gets the ball. He had 33 receiving yards last week. So it just goes to show you, you can make your own little slip here. Alexis and I have been doing so. So I highly recommend, once again, if you want to check it out, be sure to type in DT Rams and you will get a double on your first deposit of up to $100. But that is it for me, Alexis. I've talked way too much. Keep fighting the good fight, Hendo fans. You are appreciated. You're all appreciated, even if you're wrong. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I definitely disagree with the way they're handling the Henderson situation. I hope it just all works out in the end.
Me too. And yeah, go download Prize Picks. Use our code, guys. It's an awesome app. I'm on it all the time. Jake got me involved in that app, and it's truly, I think it's one of the best out there. But guys, we will be back after the Jaguars game for a recap episode. But until then, as always, if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. You can follow us on social media at Downtown Rams on all platforms. You can follow me on Twitter at the Alexis Craft, and you can follow Jake at JK Bogan. And guys, like I said, we'll be back after the Rams game. But until then, stay safe, take care, and go Rams. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code DTR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and make sure to use code DTR. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.